What's going on, everybody? Of course, my name is Blitzwinger, and ladies and gentlemen, welcome on back to another episode of Let's Build. Yes, I know it feels like it's been quite a while since I've actually done one of these, but nonetheless, of course, if you guys don't know what the Let's Build series is all about, it's basically a very, very leisurely and very calm and relaxed video whereby basically all I do is I ask you guys some questions, or I ask you guys to ask me questions, which sounds a little convoluted, doesn't it? But down below in this video, and then of course also on Twitter, which by the way is the way that we're going to be looking at a lot of the questions for today, as you can see right there. So, of course, follow me on Twitter, which is @Blitzwinger, so that whenever I ask for questions for Let's Build, you can go ahead and tweet those right at me, and I will then be able to utilize them. So, of course, today we're going to be taking a look at a pretty lovely set from the brand new Avengers Age of Ultron sets, which I will be reviewing over the next few weeks. All of the sets, I finally managed to get them, which is fantastic, really cool stuff. And today we're going to be taking a look at the smallest of the bunch, of course, the set that is only 92 pieces, set number 76029, and this is Iron Man versus Ultron. Sounds pretty cool, to be honest. So the back of the packaging, as you can see, shows, oh wow, this one comes with 3 minifigures. That's fantastic. I mean, Ultron figures, and then of course Iron Man as well. So all in all, not too bad of a set, considering that this set is, I think it's 14 or... yeah, I think it's $14, at least that's what I paid for it, to get 4 minifigures and a little vehicle. That's pretty cool, so I'm definitely happy about that. And of course we also get the new super jumper. So let's go ahead and try to poke a hole in this. There we go. Finally. Now we're gonna go ahead and slide out the little baggie right there. Oh, whoops. Whoa, look at that. A lot of translucent parts. That looks fun. And then we're just gonna go ahead and pack up the box again. Set that to the side over there. And let's open things up. So, of course, as always, as soon as I get all the parts laid out and such, we're going to start assembling. And then I will also start getting to your lovely, lovely questions. I think we have about 5 or 6 questions for today. So hopefully that'll be enough questions for the video here. But if not, I'm sure I'll be able to blabber on about something, because I always do. So, that being said, let me just lay out the little parts here for the torsos of the different characters. Ooh, we got some helmets too. That's cool. Alright, so I believe that... oh, there's the little super jumper. There's Tony's body and body parts. Alright, so let's go ahead and look at our booklet. Quite a thick booklet, really, for just something that is only 92 pieces. That's a little surprising, to be honest. Alright, so it looks like the first thing that we're going to be putting together is Tony Stark. So let me just go ahead and read the first question here. So this one comes to us from Eric Moss at Rango9876, and he or she asks, or actually he asks because it's Eric, do you think Spider-Man will have a big role in Captain America's Civil War like he did in the comics? Of course, if you didn't know, they did just announce, sorry, I'm just going to use my little scissors here to, or big scissors, but to help open that up. But if you didn't know, of course, they just announced that Spider-Man is in fact going to be in Captain America's Civil War. And to be honest, at this stage, I doubt that he will be in a very, very important role. Simply because I don't know if there is enough time for him to be like a prominent character. If you didn't know, of course, in the comics, the Civil War comic book, Spider-Man is a huge important character in the comics. So there's Mr. Iron Man, by the way. Let me just give him his little repulsors, or speed boosts, I should say. But yeah, in the comics, he is absolutely crucial to the storyline of Civil War. He is very important, and he plays a big role. I don't know if I should spoil it, but basically, of course, Iron Man and Captain America kind of fight over who gets to have Spider-Man. They're both trying to convince him to join their own cause, obviously to join their team, and that's why it's quite a significant storyline in that regard, and Spider-Man plays a really big part in it. So there's Iron Man, by the way, completed. So it's going to be interesting to see how he plays into the whole thing. I'm very much intrigued to see what is going to be his role in this whole thing. Wait a minute. Why didn't they show you how to assemble the little guys here? Wait, so is this a 2 minifigure set or a 3 minifigure set? Because on the front it shows 2 minifigures, but then on the back it shows 3 minifigures. So how many is it actually? I'm a bit confused at this point. Alright, I'm not sure, to be honest, but I also am not sure as to why we don't see the minifigures on the second page. That's kind of odd. Alright, well, I guess we gotta build their vehicle first. So, let us begin with that. So yeah. Back to the question at hand. So do I think that he's going to play a significant part? I think he's definitely going to play a part. I don't know how significant that part will be. Let me go ahead and actually zoom down here so it'll be a little bit cleaner that way. But yeah, so I think that he's obviously going to be in it. That's already been approved. But I just don't know how significant they could make him feel at this point. Just because I'm sure that at this point they've had a script already done, and honestly I would not want for them to just rush something and just get him in there in a significant role just for the sake of doing it. So maybe the only thing I'm thinking is this. For example, before Marvel knew that they had Spider-Man, maybe they had some sort of contingency plan, right? Where they said, all right, we're going to have... I don't know, Falcon or something like that. We're gonna have one of him or the Winter Soldier, some other character, take on the role of Tony Stark. I mean, the role of sorry, I messed that up. The role of Spider-Man. You know, we're gonna have somebody else take that role because we don't have access to Spider-Man, so we're gonna just have some other character do that, or like Black Panther or something like that, right? Like, well, Black Panther is not introduced yet, but someone else they would use. So I'm hoping that now they've got Spider-Man, maybe they could just be like, okay, never mind. This is the guy that's gonna have all the lines is Spider-Man himself. So I'm hoping that that's the case. I hope that they have a really, really well thought out plan in place. But to be honest, again, at this point, Marvel has really done no wrong in my mind with their films. I mean, even the ones that are considered by some people to be a little bit weaker, like Thor or, let's say, goodness gracious, Captain America, the First Avenger, which I will admit that I enjoyed Thor, but Captain America, the First Avenger is quite a slow film, so I will admit that. However, I will. Oh wow, this is interesting. You actually use Ultron legs for this. That's kind of unique. But in my opinion, personally speaking, I just hope that at the end of the day, they just keep their streak going. They keep maintaining the crazy momentum that they have of just making awesome movie after awesome movie after awesome movie, and just maintain that momentum. So right now, I'm hopeful that it'll be great, but I'm almost a little bit worried that they'll rush Spider-Man just for the sake of rushing him. But I guess we'll see. Only time will tell, truly. All right, so let's see. Next question here is from XX Silver 456XX. What is your opinion on PvZ Garden Warfare and what makes you like it? All right, interesting question. A little bit different. Not it doesn't fit the theme as much as the last question did, but still a great question. So thank you for your awesome question there. But what is my thoughts on PvZ Garden Warfare? Well, first and foremost, that was the game of the year for me for last year. I thought that was the best game of the year. For me personally, I enjoyed that one the most. It's just a lot of fun. There's really no specific reason that I could say like, oh my god, this is like, you know, the greatest storyline or something like that. It was just fun. I liked the art style. The mechanics of the game felt really, really cohesive, sorry, and they just came together really nicely. So that's why I really enjoy that game and continue to enjoy it to this day, and I hope that we get another iteration of it. So again, I just thought it was unique, it was different, it was something that, you know, typically shooters were very dark and grim and browns and blah blah blah. You know, the color palette of typical shooters was very, very, very grim and dark and gruesome, whereas this one was a lot more fun and colorful and unique. So that's why it really, really did stand out in my mind, and that's why I enjoyed it so very much when I played it. Next question comes from I'm a derp, which hopefully I'm not. But what do you think of Avengers 3 and Batman v Superman so far? Okay, so far, I mean, Avengers 3, we basically know nothing. I mean, except for the fact that it's going to be in 2 parts. So my guess is that in Avengers 3, we see some sort of significant event occur in the first one that will then tie into, like, basically, I wouldn't be surprised if in Avengers 3 Part 1, which is the Infinity War Part 1, I wouldn't be surprised if they fail or like even it ends unsuccessfully, so to speak, for the Avengers. I wouldn't be shocked if that's what ends up happening. And then in Avengers 3, it is up to the Avengers to reunite once again, and then obviously come off as the victors against Thanos. So now, other than that, what are my thoughts on the idea of, I guess, of Avengers 3? Obviously, I'm very excited. I'm a huge fan of the comic books. I'm a huge fan of, obviously, just generally speaking, Marvel and such. So I'm very, very much excited to see what it is that they come up with next. Once again, going back to the statement that I made just a moment ago, I think that Marvel has done no wrong so far. I think that even their weak movies have been solid, so to speak, and have been definitely enjoyable and watchable. Some maybe not as enjoyable or nearly as enjoyable as others, but I think that they took a step in the right direction with Guardians. I think that they really proved with Guardians that they can do a character that a lot of us maybe feel is... a set of characters that a lot of us maybe felt like, oh, okay, they're starting to, scrape the bottom of the barrel, as a lot of people were saying, but then they do it and they blow everybody away, and everybody's just like, oh my god, like, wow, look what they managed to pull off. So I'm hoping that that will be the case with future franchises. The one movie that I'm more so excited than Avengers 3 at this point, just because we haven't heard enough, and more importantly, I haven't even seen Avengers 2 yet at the time of this recording. Obviously, it's not out yet, but it will be soon, so I'm very, very excited for that. But basically, whoops, Iron Man fell down. Let me stand you back up, Tony. Come on, calm down, dear. You stopped drinking, didn't you? Yeah, the one movie that I'm even a little bit more so excited than Avengers 3 is actually Captain Marvel. I've been reading a lot of Captain Marvel, the current run of Marvel. Whoa, goodness gracious, I almost flew this guy away. And I would say to you guys, if you haven't been reading it, definitely consider checking it out. It's really, really, really fun. It's a really good read. Super, super simple in terms of, like, it's not a very... tedious read, or not, maybe tedious is the wrong word, but you know what I mean. Like, there's a lot of there oftentimes is comics that are very heavy on you having read the previous 5,000 issues or something like that, and with this one they do an absolutely awesome job. I think I'm supposed to give him one of the blue ones here. They do a really, really great job of keeping it really light and simple and not confusing. So in that regard, I really, really enjoy the way that they managed to pull off Captain Marvel. And that's why I would absolutely, without a shadow of a doubt, recommend for you guys to check it on out. Whoa, wait a minute. Wait a minute. So I need to mount this guy onto here? That is... Wait, no. Onto this thing. I'm looking at the wrong thing. Alright, so wait. So I guess I need to have his blaster pointed outwards. Like so. And then that like so. And then he... just goes on to here. Wow, okay, so that's a little weird. It's interesting how he's a part of the vehicle, so that's definitely unique. I'm very much intrigued to see if that actually happens in the film. That would be interesting to find out. But now we get to add him onto this little ship satellite thingamajig. So he just connects onto the side like so, and you can see that he's almost acting like the jet scenario in the back, kind of like, the propelling energy from the back, so that's interesting. Very cool looking. But yeah, so Captain Marvel is the film that I'm much more excited than even Avengers 3 right now, because again, I'm just excited about the character more so, and I kind of tend to like, as much as the... films where they all come together are fantastic. There's something about, each character getting enough time to explore them and kind of understand those characters in more depth that is really, really wonderful and fun. So, in my mind, that's the film I'm more excited for. Now, in terms of the second part of your question, which was Batman v Superman, I think that I'm very worried about that film being a complete mess. I'm worried about that film being a movie that has way too many characters, and not just characters, but just things going on at once, to the point where it's just so convoluted and confusing, and everybody kind of gets barely any time to shine, that it kind of falls flat on its face. Now, do I want for it to fall flat on its face? Absolutely not. I would love for that movie to do tremendously well. I would hope that that film does just as good as Avengers, if not better, just so that we could continue getting some awesome and fantastic superhero film. So in my mind, I am still very much hopeful of the fact that it's a good film. So I'm not going into that movie thinking negatively about it. And I'm hoping that maybe that actually helps my enjoyment of it, because, for example, with Man of Steel, I went into that film with very, very high expectations, because that trailer was just phenomenal. I fell in love with that trailer, and I was like, this movie's going to be fantastic. It's going to be so awesome. And then when I went into the movie, I was greatly disappointed, because maybe my expectations were a little bit too high to be realistic, which, again, to be fair, that's my own fault for setting them to be that high. However, this time around, I feel like my expectations are actually going to be quite low, and therefore, maybe I will be able to kind of like, surpass my expectations versus what I'm going in with. So, that being said, I hope that I answered your question there somewhat well. I was a little all over the place, so I do apologize about that. But, let's see, what is our next question, or who is it coming from? Alright, so the next question is from Thierry Coopman, and or maybe it's Thierry, I'm not sure, at my Thierry, and he or she asks, for which Marvel movie are you most excited? So, I guess I kind of talked about that without even realizing that was going to be an upcoming question, because again, all I did is I asked you guys on Twitter, hey, send me questions, and then you lovely people responded. Now, I did ask somewhat later at night today, so maybe I should have just waited for earlier in the morning, but hopefully for the next Let's Build, you guys will continue asking awesome questions. So, nonetheless, the film that I'm most excited for right now is probably Captain Marvel and Black Panther. I think those are the two movies that I'm most excited for. I'm really intrigued to see how those films come off. I'm really intrigued to see those characters portrayed on the big screen, especially because those are not the same kind of characters that you would think of in terms of, like, scale-wise. You wouldn't think of those characters as being particularly huge in the Marvel universe. Don't get me wrong, they are within the big Marvel hardcore fans, but I really love this vehicle. Sorry for interrupting, but just look at it's really interesting how it all comes together with just Ultron parts. Like, you got Ultron parts right here on the sides, right here in the back, right here on the lower area. It's just really neat. It's almost like it's all formulated just from bits and bobs of Ultron, which is cool. I hope that happens in the actual show, and we see, in the actual the actual show, what am I talking about? In the actual film. That would be quite neat to see. But back to what I was saying. Now, I know that a lot of people are going to talk about Black Panther in the context of, it's an African-American superhero, and that's why people are excited for it. And to be honest, to a certain extent, yes, that is an appeal, an element of appeal to him. But I think that it's just going to be very interesting to see, to me, more so not the fact that it's the first African-American solo superhero movie. Like, we saw Anthony Mackie, who did an amazing job with Falcon, and then we saw, of course, Nick Fury, just Samuel L. Jackson knocking it out of the park all the time. But other than that, I don't believe that there has been a superhero that was African American. So there's obviously an element there that there's going to be people bringing that up as the main thing about it, which is a little unfortunate. I really am upset that it's still happening, but hey, what can you do? I guess the only way to get around that is to continue addressing it. But I don't even know why I'm going into political things here, or social things, I guess, cultural things and such. But basically, my hope is that people look past that and are able to, actually judge the film itself and not just talk about all the other context around it. Now, don't get me wrong, a lot of the themes that are explored within Black Panther in terms of comics and such oftentimes actually are very political in nature and such. So it's going to be interesting to see how much of a role that plays into the actual final film. I definitely am excited for it. I'm hoping that it will be a really, really fun film. So it will be probably that movie, and then, of course, as I said before, Captain Marvel, because Captain Marvel, again, is going to be hopefully awesome, because, it's just Captain Marvel, and she's awesome. And the comics have made me fall in love with that character, so I'm hoping that if the film can be, let's say, I don't know, oh, I messed that up, by the way. Oh, no, I didn't. Wait. I did? Yeah, I did. Okay, let me fix that up. But I'm hoping if the film can be like 20% as fun as the comics are, it's going to be a great movie. So I'm definitely going to have fun with it, that's for sure. All right, so it's looking like we're almost done here. Just a little more to go. Let's see. Ooh, interesting. So this little element like plugs into the backpack almost. Look at that. That's cool. Man, I really like the kind of autonomous nature of this thing. Just kind of the way it comes together is really cool. So I believe that is all. I think those are all spare little pieces right here. So we could use those for extra bullets and such. For the guns, of course. And that's pretty neat. So you got a couple of extra studs. A nice little extra arm. 1x1 sloped pin. And that's pretty cool. Always nice to have some extra pieces. So here's the ship itself. And just like, of course, in the actual idea that I had, or in my mind, just the way that wait, did I mess this up completely? Oh, no, I didn't. Okay, good. You can actually lower these if you'd like to have it like more different structures and different poses and such. But the cool element about this is that, of course, these pieces are indeed supposed to separate off and come together into the actual figure. So you're going to go ahead and pull off these, and then you assemble your little Ultron figure. So you got yourself one of these guys, or sorry, two of these guys actually, because there's two of them. So you just pull that off there, and that comes together like so. And they all have blasters, which is pretty neat. There's some incredibly intricate print work on these, which is awesome. And then, of course, what you would do with this guy is I would assume, break that piece off and then grab his legs from the front here. And there you go. And you got yourself your little Ultron, kind of almost like a commander. This guy's a little bit different, obviously. As you can see, he's wearing actually a helmet. It's the exact same head, actually, as on these guys, you'll notice, but thanks to the helmet, he does feel quite different. And not just the helmet, but also, of course, the radio backpack frequency thingamajig that he's wearing, which is cool. So I like that quite a bit. Ooh, I like these eyes. These eyes look cool. Look at that in the helmet, the way they're peeking through. Definitely look very menacing there. The backpack looks nice and stylish, very clean. No issues there. I like the little effects to allow him to fly around. As you can see, incredibly intricate print work right there on the front. And then on the back here, you can see also, once again, very intricate work in terms of all these little cables and pieces that all come together to make up these Ultrons. Now, of course, these are not the Ultron Primes because they're blue and such. But you get 3 of them, so it's a great way to army build. Definitely lovely in that regard. And then, of course, you get yourself Mark 43 Iron Man. Beautiful print work right there. I really like the, of course, pop-up helmet right there. I think that's really great. Or faceplate, whatever you want to call it. If you don't like it, you could completely remove the helmet like so, and you could have him just without it. Of course, he does have 2 different expressions, as you can see right there. There's the much more upset expression, as if his toast has burned or something like that. Or Ultron's taken over the world, which is probably the better comparison to make. And then, of course, last but certainly not least, we get our little super jumper, which, by the way, be cautious with this, because a lot of people, or not a lot, but some people have been reporting the fact that they've had issues with their figures starting to have stretch marks on the legs, and some even have had their figure legs crack, which is very unfortunate. Like, I would be quite upset if that happened to me. But obviously what you do is you load the figure in like so, and then once you have him in position, you just flick that or press down on this little area right there, and that allows you to then just basically launch your guy into another pile of enemies or Ultrons or whatever it is that you are trying to launch him against. So as you can see, it's quite a tight fit here, which is why a lot of people, you see, that was a little nerve-wracking. So that's why I don't try to use the super jumper, just because I'm always nervous about having the figures break or something like that, especially because not a lot, but a few people have reported having issues with that. So you know, better be safe than sorry is my motto in that regard, because I would not want to have to replace my figures just in case if they were to break. So let me just get these guys onto here, because it doesn't seem like they want to stand with the little studs inside. That makes sense. All right, so there you guys have it. That is the little set right there. That is, of course, another Let's Build episode. I certainly do hope that you guys enjoyed it. A lot of fun discussion there about the Marvel upcoming cinematic universe. I definitely would love to hear back from you, lovely folks, in terms of what are you guys most excited for in the Marvel cinematic universe? Is it the Avengers 3 movie? Is it the Avengers Age of Ultron film that we haven't even seen? It's kind of been a little bit of a weird time with that movie. I've noticed a lot of people have kind of stopped talking about it, which is a little surprising. Maybe it's just, people at this point are just waiting to just see it, and that's all. So nonetheless, let me know in the comment section below if you guys are excited for the films that I am. If not, let me know which ones you guys are excited for. I would love to read the lovely discussion in the comment section below. Of course, you can always leave questions for Let's Build, or the next episode of Let's Build, in the comment section below as well. And then additionally to that, of course, don't forget to follow me on Twitter, so that if I ask for questions, of course, on Twitter, you can go on ahead and reply, and I could select your questions. Alrighty, Roo guys, thanks all for watching. Have an absolutely fantastic day, and I will indeed see you guys later. Alligators. I'm Iron Man.